Hello. Hey. What's up, guys? How's it going? This is Enrique. This is Easy Things to Draw. Today I'm going to continue the kind of the basics of shading. What I'm doing is I'm kind of going through the really technical kind of shading technique, I guess you call it. And I'm kind of putting it out there because I know a lot of people had questions on it. You know, there is the general idea of shading, you know what I mean? And that is technical in itself. And that's all you really need. The truth is, you know, I have an ebook on it also as well. Check that out. It's free, completely free. I'll put the link at the very end of the video or in the description. That's for like just the general, you know, like what you want. But this is the more super technical kind of. I don't even think this is as technical as like what certain engineers use. But this is, you know, on its way there. This is a very technical way to shade. If you're really like curious about it, and knowing this does help you. I don't know if I'd recommend this totally for beginners, but knowing this really does help you a lot for the other shading. You'll have it in the back of your head, even if you don't like use it. You know, you'll know the concept, and you'll be like, okay, I get that. But anywho, I made a series. So far, I have a playlist. You can check the playlist out. That's definitely gonna be in the description. I'm using a right here. I'm using this pen right here. I'm using the F402 Zebra. This is a little bit heavier. I like it. This is like one of my favorites. F402 Zebra pen, and it's a ballpoint pen. And I'm using this tiny ruler with 3 sides. Pretty cool, pretty neat. I dig that. Perfect for this stuff. And I'm using a perspective grid underneath. I teach you how to make it in another video. I'll link it on the side somewhere. But if you don't have it, I'm gonna actually have a scan of it. The only thing I need you to do is to kind of size it up to the paper. I don't know if it's exactly the size. I just scanned it. And I have a link to that below if you want to do that. What that does is it kind of keeps everything in perspective so that you don't have to think about it while we're doing this. You know what I mean? So while we're doing this, you don't want to have to think about, keeping things in perspective, you know. You have a grid underneath that kind of keeps it, you know, correct. If you want to do some extreme stuff, then yeah, you got to like throw the perspective grid out and do another one with a different kind of perspective view. But this is good for boxes and stuff like that. So what I'm going to go through today is I'm going to get back on a road, and I'm going over the cast shadows still. But this one I'm going to go over how do you find the cast shadow of a stick on a, let's say, wall or box. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say these are my sticks right here. Sticks. This is stick 1. Can you see it? I know it's just another line, right? It looks just like all the other lines. Let me just darken the hell out of this thing. Really darken that one, and then that's stick 1, and here's stick 2. This right here is the light source. It's an indoor light source. Remember, if you have an outdoor light source, light tends to come very horizontally. If it's an outdoor light source, this is an indoor light source. Outdoor light source, I mean the sun. Indoor light source, you have a light somewhere like a lamp or something like that, it's going to kind of radiate outward. You know what I mean? And I kind of went over that in the other video, so hopefully you understand. So, indoor light source. This is our light source right here. These are 2 sticks, and this is our wall here. How do you cast the shadow on that wall? First thing is we do the same thing we've been doing for the last few videos, which is I take the bottom of the light source, right, where it's grounded right here, and I take, like, I'm going to do stick number 1 first. Stick number 1, I'm going to put number 1 on here. And I am going to, let me pull this down even more to kind of serve my example. I'm trying to let me pull this down even more to make, so I can really make my point clear. Otherwise it's just going to touch the edge of it. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to connect it here to the base of that stick, right? Just like a little twig or stick or whatever the hell, whatever we do. And I'm going to draw it all the way through. It's no definite endpoint over there. And I'm going to see the top of my stick right here. And then I'm going to check out the top of my light source. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to connect them as well there with the ruler. And I draw all the way through till it touches that point when it intersects. Basically, the top points are going to intersect the bottom points back here in space. Right? I mean, just doing that alone, you don't even need a perspective grid on that alone, you know? So this is where the end of that shadow is going to be, right? Without that box there, this is where that shadow of the stick would have been. So you got the shadow over here, whatever. So this wall's right there. So I have to see the back of this box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find that corner and draw that line downward. Right? We're dealing with horizontal. I mean, the vertical lines are kind of just straight up and down. I'm going to pull this back using my grid underneath. And just kind of, well, I mean, you can also do this as well. You're finding the back side of that box, because the box, what we're dealing with is essentially just cubes. You know, it's easy right now. I'll teach you. You know, just for anyone who has any questions, we're gonna keep, we're gonna small chunk these things. I want to small chunk it because that's the best way to learn anything, in my opinion. Is you're small chunking material. I'm not gonna throw it all in one giant video because I think that will be, you're just gonna like zone out. You know what I mean? That's like you're learning one thing at a time and then applying it. That's how you're really gonna remember it. So we found the back side of that box. If we're thinking in X-ray vision, right? So what I'm going to do is, you see where this line meets the back side, or established back side of the box? I'm going to draw a line upward. There, because everything's straight up. All the way up over here. And I have a point right there in the back of that box. I'm going to do the same thing right here. With this point, the shadow crosses. I'm just going to draw it straight up. I have another point right there. So now that those are found, I'm going to connect those 2 points. And so now what you ultimately end up with, let me do this with a different, I'm just going to do this to show the shadow of that stick. The shadow of that stick would be right here. See that? Because even though that object is in its way, the shadow will still end at the exact same point over there, even if that thing wasn't there. If it wasn't there, it'd just be a straight line. You know what I mean? Let me see if that stands out on camera. It's alright. So this is the shadow. Let me, you know what? I don't think it stands out enough. Let me grab a red pen here. So that would be the shadow of stick number 1 here. Let's do stick number 2. Stick number 2, the same ruler, pen. Stick number 2 is a little slanted. It's good enough though, it'll work. We're dealing with just straight up like verticals right now. So I grab the base of my light source. Remember the light source over here? In case somebody jumps in the middle of the video. Grab the base here. Check out the base of stick number 2. And I'm going to draw through that. Just kind of I don't really know how far it's going to go, like I said. It's somewhere in there. Somewhere inside the block. I'm going to grab the light source and go through the top part of stick number 2. So it's right over here. This is where they meet. This is where the top meets the bottom, right? Remember, in case you forgot, base of the grounded kind of light source. Doesn't have to be grounded. You can draw a line straight down. And then take that base, draw it through the bottom part of your stick. We're just casting the shadows and sticks here. Put it all the way through. And the top part where the light source is coming from touches the top of the stick. And then you find the point at which they're kind of intersecting. When you find that, okay, so now it's somewhere buried in that wall, right? What do? I mean, I guess, you know, you already, if you remember, if you this made sense to you, then this is easy. You're going to take where it intersects the wall and draw up. Just straight up. Let's see this. And it's just because this stick's a little wonky. Just draw straight up. And then find where that line is intersecting that wall as well. And that would be your shadow on that side. Let me kind of put that in red. Put that even more. So a lot of it is just construction. See, this one does not cross the wall. It's just a shadow on the wall. And this one goes right over the wall. Because in the beginning, that really confused me, especially in example number 1. You know, like I thought maybe like the shadow would be shorter, and then I'm like, no, it wouldn't be shorter. Why would it be shorter, right? You're dealing with light. So that's kind of it is. You kind of follow the line. It's almost like ants. I keep hearing that metaphor, like ants tracing the wall. You know what I mean? I hope that made sense. I don't want to make this more complicated than it has to be. I don't want to talk more than I have to. You know, which is funny, right? Because I ramble a lot. So, anyways, that is the lesson for today. That would be how to find the shadow of a stick, like casting onto a wall. You know what I mean? Or casting over a wall. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, please message me. Please email me at omegaman20 at gmail.com. Or if you haven't, check out my ebook. I really want feedback on it. You know what I mean? It's a general, it's a ebook about shading in general. Not so much this stuff, but just like the general idea to get you started in shading, like real quick. But yeah, I would really like feedback on the ebook. So check it out. I'll see you guys later.